Hey everybody, welcome back to the Film Tangent Show. Bam, 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 boom. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na. We need a jingle like that, dude.
Yeah, we need a jingle like that, and also one of us should change our names to Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. Kramer. I was watching the episode today where Kramer he kicks Kramer or he takes Kramer's key or whatever, so Kramer can't get into his house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, because he or his apartment rather, because he comes home to his apartment and Kramer's like using his bathtub or something, right?
Yeah, or like eating his shit, some shit like that.
Yeah. Like, Jerry. Yeah. That's what that came across like. Jerry, you gotta let me in, Jerry. You gotta. But yeah, we're back, everybody. That's me pretending we have a jingle for the show that's as good as Seinfeld. Jax.
We know some musicians. Maybe we can get them to make something for us for pennies. Like, I'll give you 5 pennies and you give me 5 seconds.
You plug in a keyboard and do it live every time.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah. As you guys can hear, Jack it sounded crisp and clear now. So
hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back.
Yep. So anyway, yeah. So we were going to talk about. Unfortunately, we got to talk about. Oh, there's a dog. Unfortunately, we got to talk about Facebook again. We're in the awful Facebook posts weeds again. So yeah, dude, what is Edward? You and I have context here. We got to catch Jack up, but we'll catch Jack up with the audience. What is going on, dude?
Bro, I don't know.
What the hell is going on with Facebook?
I don't know. It's interesting. We've talked about this before. I will probably name this section the same thing I named it before. I think it's like our Facebook journey part 3 or something.
Lame book journey.
Lame book. Yeah. Part 3.
Just lame posts. People looking for attention. People making things up.
It's fascinating because you yourself sent me 3 that basically covered those exact same things.
Yeah.
People posting lame shit, people making shit up on Facebook, and then people putting shit on Facebook for attention.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And it's like it really begs the question of like, you know, we've done our best at answering this before in the past. By the way, everybody, leave a like to this video if you please.
Yeah. Share us on Facebook.
Share us on Facebook. And if you were ever gonna do it, you have to do it this episode because Jack got a new mic. It's sounding crisp, but you have to do it now. Like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment about how much you love Jack, or if you hate him.
Yeah.
Why
what do you hate about him? Be specific.
What do you hate about him? I hate his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's befuddling because and I guess this is kind of like a new angle, and I think this is kind of like a new angle that we can talk about it in the sense that we are from, we're from we're not millennials, right? And we're not boomers, so we're not from our generation of our parents, and we're not from the generation of the people who are older than us, and we've been privy to the way that they use Facebook, right? Which is posting nonsense and reposting questionable content and using Facebook just for whatever, right? So we've all had our share of time to point at them, to laugh at them,
right?
And be like, they're using Facebook in the worst way possible. Even if there's kind of like a graph for this, or a hierarchy of ways. But now our existence is basically us becoming what the millennials were. And now the people in our generation are the ones who are just constantly, for whatever reason, posting on Facebook. I thought that Facebook was I thought that for our generation, Facebook was going to die because of like Instagram and because of TikTok and because of Snapchat. But it's still there. And now it's people from our fucking generation posting shit on there that is completely just lame.
lame,
That's-
cringe, making shit up, dude. No, it's our generation has become lame old people in their 20s. Like that's what it is. Like I'm
Yeah,
not saying old people are lame, but you know, just the caricature of like the lame old person on Facebook. You know, like we've become our generation has like sped up to that.
Yeah.
In a way,
insane.
they've matured really quickly. That's one way to look
Not
at it.
for the better. Definitely not for the better.
Yeah.
I mean, as somebody who doesn't use Facebook, like the things I think about is like people of our generation being on it just to like keep up with older people.
Right.
Yeah.
They're actually
No, they're engaging. They're engaging.
That's crazy to me.
Dude, and I don't know when it happened. It almost feels like maybe like I don't know, it almost feels like maybe 2016 something dragged everybody back in there. Like
It did, yeah. It was the election. It was the election.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to paint
Yeah.
that picture because I remember that when that happened, it was like people from our generation, you know, who were in college, we're literally fucking freshmen. You know, it was like the way of the 18-year-olds in 2016. It was like the way of our generation of being like, I'm gonna interact with my parents and my parents' parents and with the people who, you know, now that I'm 18, the folks that are in their 30s, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna interact with them on Facebook and I'm gonna tell them to F themselves.
Yeah.
And somehow when all of that happened, because that was all that was happening at that time. It was just people from our. It felt like that maybe because we were in a very specific bubble where everybody was interacting, but it felt like it was happening everywhere. It almost felt like people got on Facebook that day, that November,
Yeah.
and never left.
No, they didn't. They never left. Dude, I remember like after the election, like some girl at our school getting on there and like posting like, you know, she was like, you know, I decided, you know, in this election to vote for Trump, and before you all jump down my throat, let me explain, and like goes on to explain, and then people are like commenting on it. It's like, first of all, why are you commenting on this post? And second of all, why are you posting this? Like, before you guys jump down my throat, like, oh, it's so important. I got to tell everybody at my school who's a raging liberal why I voted for the other candidate that they don't like. It's like, what do you do? And it's your first year at the school too. Like, why are you setting yourself up for people to hate you? Like, you know, it was just so weird. It's like people jumping on there just wanting. People had all this like pent up existential like angst, and they just wanted to let it out somehow. And the way they did it was just like arguing on Facebook.
Yeah,
I think. But we caught someone, Jack, in our network, who's a big old fibber. And he was caught in a big old. He's been caught lying several times now, by Edward and I.
But this time red-handed.
Oh, dude, this time he really stepped in it. You've been dumb before, Charlie Brown, but this time you really did it. So I sent this to Edward the other day. So like something that he's been doing is like posting screenshots of like beautiful women, basically, like selfies or whatever. And as long as I've had Facebook, I kind of have like memories of him doing this. Like, I'm pretty sure he was doing this like years ago. Like, this is why I keep Facebook just, dude, it's like a train wreck you can't look away from. Like, I know I was talking a few weeks ago about like probably deleting it or whatever, but it's like, I can't look away. Like, it's so much.
That's why I still have it. Yeah.
Dude, it's so much fun to just make fun of this shit and like send it to each other.
And the funny thing is that now I have it. Like now, Jake, I'm engaging with it out of my own volition. I'm assuming that's where you're at because you know, part of this continuing Facebook narrative that we have in the podcast. I think it started. I think the first episode of our Facebook journey started when I was like, I'm deleting Facebook. Because
I think we were talking about it. We were talking about it on like the Dune episode. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Let me before we get too far on that tangent. Let me just let me fill everyone in on what's happened. What we're talking about here. So
because I feel like I'm about to take us to a different.
yeah, let me just make sure I close this loop quick. So he's been posting over the past like few years. I'm pretty sure I remember like selfies of like beautiful women on there, and basically pretending like he's dating them, like basically being like, oh, this is like my number one, like my, my rock, like
my
blah
ride and
blah,
die.
yeah,
She's
my
been with
ride or
me all
die.
through these years.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have so many great times together. It's like, yeah, I'm sure, dude. I'm sure you have a lot of great times together, considering that you have that you're not together in any of the photos. But that's the thing. It became very obvious. It's like very obvious to anyone who like, and we knew this guy. Like we had classes with
We
him
knew
and
this
stuff.
guy.
Like
We
he's
met
like
this guy in person,
he's just like a
Oh
normal
my
dude.
God.
So
or at least used to be.
yeah, I guess.
Dude,
But like
8 years. 8 years is a long time.
I'm saying, like he presents himself as like a normal dude, So, but
Yeah.
like anyway, so like he so it became very apparent that it's just like OnlyFans girls, and
Mhm.
he's like,
Mhm.
and like he would post screenshots of them like texting him and stuff. Like we're like, what is going on here? Like no one believes that you're actually with this person. Like what are you doing? And
Mhm.
so the other day, like I sent Edward another one of these, and Edward, why don't you tell us what you
Yeah.
figured out?
Well, it also helps to add
Yeah,
to
yeah,
this
yeah.
that again, this is a guy that we knew literally like 8 years ago, and
Yeah.
we knew him briefly because
Yeah.
because from our vicinity he departed from our vicinity. And so we ceased to know him in close proximity. I'm like fucking Dr. Seuss. But Jake has continued to know him through social media. So Jake has had him in his vicinity. And through the years we've kind of seen this guy morph into the creature that he is today. and we've kind of shared, here and there some stuff about this. But the silver lining for him before was that he had plausible deniability in the fact that Jake nor I, we just didn't know. We didn't know who these people were. We were just making kind of like that's what we believed. We were like, okay, this guy is just making shit up, and this probably are some like girls like that he's just paying money to, and they're probably taking advantage of him. The guy might have, I don't know, some kind of like, I don't know, mental health issue. So so before we just had this kind of train of thought, that he's just trying to present something that isn't there. And he would go in there like whining and crying and heartbroken, and then the next post would be about how they're back together.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
insane shit, dude, insane shit.
Wow.
But then this time, the caveat this time, the thing that changed everything was that, excuse me, I knew the girl that he posted. Like,
Oh, no.
dude, I saw the
Not
picture.
personally, she's a
Not
celebrity.
personally. She's a celebrity. Because I saw the picture and immediately I was like, oh my God, this girl was Jaden Smith's girlfriend. That's how I knew who the girl was.
Oh my God.
And so I went on her Instagram because she's a famous girl. Her name's like Snyder, like Sarah or something like that. I went on there. I looked it up. I was like, this has to be. It has to be. I went in there, and not only was it exactly that girl, a famous girl with millions of followers on YouTube, on Instagram. Not only was it exactly that girl, but like the third picture on her Instagram was the picture that he chose to post on Facebook, claiming that was his ride or die. Like,
Yeah.
That's an all-time low. Like,
Yeah.
You're not even like going through the trouble of subscribing to somebody's OnlyFans and getting like a personal photo. At least like at that point you're like putting a little bit of effort in, but just taking it straight off the gram.
Not only that,
Facebook is just devious.
Dude, but not only that, Jake has a theory that is even sadder than that. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if like, so I'm not sure. Does that celebrity have an OnlyFans?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So either
it's like it's like it's such a big celebrity that it's like, why would you publicize that this is your girlfriend? You know?
Yeah, so that's like bad, if that's the case. That's embarrassing. But then if that's not the case, that only leaves us like two options as far as I know. Either you're being duped by a bot that's like pretending to be her, which is really sad.
It's really sad.
Like legit, I'm not even like trying to make fun of that. Is like actually
really
like
sad.
and shame on like people on the internet that do that kind of stuff and like money grub and like take advantage of people like that. But the other option is that the guy knows exactly what's going on and is like trying to dupe everybody, and it's like maybe like reverse search these images before you like make that your before you pretend that's your girlfriend. But it's like the ultimate like modern day Facebook version of like, I have a girlfriend but she goes to another school, bro. Like it's just it's like, Jesus Christ, what is going on, man? What were you gonna ask, Jack?
I was just gonna say, I mean, I know y'all probably had limited exposure to this guy like 8 years ago, but like what do you think are like, if you had to put odds like, on which of those two scenarios it is, what do you truly think it is?
I really do think it's a coin flip. I think it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, he was like a big, because like the reason he only went to the school, I think, for like a semester, because he got like
get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know if like I mean, we're not even saying like names or anything, but I don't want to like.
I think we should probably not even talk.
We probably shouldn't even get into that. I don't want to be like, I don't want people to like put it together and then be like, oh, they're slandering, But like, he's not there anymore. He wasn't there.
By the way, anybody who's listening to this is actually a made up.
We're just
this is fictitious.
Now we're making things up. Yeah. So, no, I think it's, who knows? Because he was big into drugs, but then also, so it could be like he's just getting duped. But I don't know, though. He definitely he strikes me as the kind of person who would be like, oh yeah, like I'm flexing on Facebook, like I'm really getting one over on everybody. Like they think I'm dating this girl. It's like, dude, it's like the first time I ever saw him post one of those, I was like, he's not dating her. You don't post a selfie of your girlfriend. You post you guys together.
A picture
like
of yourself with her.
Yeah, this is how it is.
No doubt.
But yeah, it's rough, man. And then like, I don't know what more is there to say. Like it's constant, dude. I mean, like I don't know if I sent you this. There's another one. Jack actually knows about this one. There was like, we're in like a neighborhood Facebook chat thing, like a neighborhood group or whatever. It's like we're it's like a community thing. And there's like this dog that just keeps getting out like every single day. And dude, like I feel like I see photos, someone posts it like, oh, spotted him on this road. And it's like, okay, it's after like the fifth time, it's like, all right, we get it. Like the dog's always out, you keep posting pictures of it. The owner obviously like doesn't care. But then like someone commented below it and he goes, quote, want me to shoot him? And it's like, dude, do you think you're like funny or something? Like, I don't know.
That's not fun.
No,
that's just whack. Like you're gonna walk out into like your neighborhood street and just like shoot a dog. Like how would that work?
Yeah, I know.
Like
it's so dumb. It's just people like he wouldn't even do it. It's just people trying to be funny, trying to be edgy. They want attention. I don't know, dude. It doesn't seem like it's ever gonna end, man. It's never gonna end. People are addicted to this shit. I mean, dude, Edward, that teacher we were talking about that went to our school, like, or that taught, still teaches there. Like, I still see shit from him all the time, constantly, dude. It's like daily, and it's just people like feeding it, like, comment, like. Just making shit up. Like the other day, he posts like some photo of a stuffed animal in his passenger seat and writes out like an imaginary conversation he's having with it. And it's just like, dude, get the fuck off. Like, turn your phone off and throw it out the window and like go do something.
It's difficult, isn't it? And it's like, what can you do? You know, because it's like, well, truthfully though, because it's like, you know, we are ever so closer to, I guess, like a world that is just like Spike Jonze's movie Her, you know, of just like people just like grasping at straws of like, how can I engage with other human beings, you know,
Yeah.
to the point that it just becomes like, you know, engaging with AI, you know, it's like, I guess this is going to have to replace, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's just like trying to just have some kind of like social engagement,
Yeah.
some kind of like validating interaction from some fucking app on your phone, and then you go like, oh, I exist, you know, I'm alive, I'm real, you know, I said a thing in a public sphere and people acknowledged it, you know. I mean, it sounds sad the way that I'm saying it, but it's like, you know, isn't that really what it fucking is, you know?
Yeah. And it
You
doesn't
know,
feel
you know,
all this, and like all the studies that you see, it's like it doesn't help with anything. It makes people feel lonely, or it just, because I think it's just like,
when
I
you
don't
get
know.
addicted, don't you? Like that dopamine rush of like, oh, the 10
Yeah.
people in 10 minutes, you know, oh my God, you know. But then that's why people keep doing it, right? It's like, that's why there's always, that's why it's like, that's why that guy is still fucking posting, and then this other dude with his fictitious girlfriends, and then this random people that we knew posting weird videos, and it's like,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
because of that, isn't it? Because it's like,
weird
you know,
videos
even
of them like crying tears of joy over
Right.
something. Like it's just, I'm not even going to go into that one. Like I
No,
don't want to
but
like
that,
shit on their anyone's parade
no, I'm not
or
gonna,
anything.
I'm not gonna
but
mention that. I'm not gonna go into that one too either. But
yeah,
the I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it's like, you know, and that's why everybody has this shit, you know, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or whatever, and it's like at some point it's like, oh, I want that feeling again, because it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a void, you know, it just goes into this void.
yeah, yeah.
Especially
Well,
like comments on TikTok, like people, you know, trying to drop these comments to get like, you know, all these 70,000 likes or whatever it is on, so
Mhm,
their phone's just blowing up.
mhm,
It's strange.
mhm.
Just
yeah,
saying like just out of pocket stuff just to, you know, try to get people to see them.
yeah. It's rough, dude.
Weird.
It's yeah. I was telling Edward like a while when we were talking about this a while ago. Like I really think there is like some sort of like algorithm with Facebook that like rewards people who like post a lot, because like you
Mhm.
know I see like you know all it seems like the lamer the posts and the lamer the account, like the body of work, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, it's like the
Yeah.
more likes it gets, the more likes it gets. Like I'll look at a post like the ones we're talking about and I'll just be like, ugh, god, ugh, and then I'll look down and it's like 183 likes and I'm like, what the hell,
Mhm,
who is liking this? I wouldn't like this if you paid me to, dude. Like that is an abomination. It's an abomination. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. You know, and I again, I can hear people out there. You know, well, then delete Facebook, dude. And it's like, yeah, I got it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Probably, they probably have a point. You know, it's like, you know, because it's fun looking at the train wreck, but it's also like, all right, like, you know, I get it.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? That it is like, and that's what I guess this kind of loops us really well back into the what I was mentioning before, my whole deleting Facebook thing, and it is that like to those who have been paying attention, you know, like I at one point I just deleted the app. I didn't actually delete like my account, but I deleted the app, and the issue that I had and why I deleted the app was that Facebook was just constantly like not beeping my phone with notifications. You know, like I wouldn't have like actual like banners and stuff, but I would just have like a one or a two or a three, like that number next to the fucking like icon, and it
Yeah.
would just piss me off. So I would always have to go in there just to look at what the notifications were just to make it go away. I deleted Facebook. After I deleted the app, I would just get text messages from Facebook.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Dude, I would get text messages, and it would just the text message would be something along the lines of like, "Oh, Jack posted, your friend Jack that you love, he posted, click the hyperlink and go see the post." And
That's
so,
wild that they do that.
yeah, exactly, dude, right? And so to those listening, that's what happens if you delete Facebook. They're gonna text you. And so I re-downloaded the app because I was living with the text messages. I was just deleting them, but I was living with it. But then, and if you're listening to this gentleman that I'm gonna mention, know that I guess this is all your fault. But then I met a very cool guy, a guy that I'm friends with to this day through a previous job that I had. A painter, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and shout him out. Anybody who wants to see who this gentleman is, his name is Patricio. That's like Patrick, but in Spanish. Patricio Marin, Marin. You can look him up on Facebook. He's a painter, great painter that I met. And so, because I met this guy and he and I became close, I wanted to foster that relationship. So I was like, or rather, he was like, "Man, you have to add me on Facebook." And I was like, "Okay." But I was like, "I don't have Facebook on my phone." So I re-downloaded it, went back in there, became friends with him. Forgot to delete it. But I noticed, I wasn't getting the text messages anymore. So because I had the app, I wasn't getting the text messages. But also the funnier element to this, or the interesting element on top of not getting the text messages, is that I was also not getting the little number, the little red number next to the icon. So somehow deleting the app, getting text messages, reinstalling it, made the text messages go away, and made the little like notification numbers go away.
Yeah, they
That
want
notification
you
number
back.
drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that I don't get messages from Facebook anymore, I don't have that little number anymore, I haven't deleted the app, and I go on Facebook at least once a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
As if there was a number there. Because now that the number disappeared, I still have a general curiosity. And I'm like, oh, let me go in there, see if I had a notification.
Yeah. No, for me, dude, and we're part of the problem. That's the thing. We are part of the problem because it's like, the shareholders at Facebook, they don't care why we're on Facebook. They just care that we're on it, dude. So, I open it up because I want to see these train wrecks, dude. I want to see I like looking at these attention seeking, just garbage, like making shit up posts and, having a good laugh at them or something, or sending them to you, or, rolling my eyes or whatever. But I'm part of the problem. It's like, I guess it doesn't really matter why you're opening the app. They just want you to keep opening it, It's a fucking, it's an addiction, so I don't know. It's like, I gotta, there we go. I admitted it. Admitting it's the first step, dude.
Facebook is a disease, dude.
It is, dude. It is a fucking disease. Yeah, I just can't imagine being in a position in life where I feel like I need to post and post and post and have people liking it and commenting on it and getting attention. There's gotta be alternate solutions to this. Call up a family member, man. Have a conversation, I don't know. Go take up a hobby or something. Man. Come on. There's a lot of other ways to get validation, but this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The least productive way to get it.
Yeah. Lame book. Me. That's what it's all about on there.
Yeah, dude. This, I guess, for the listener, this has been another
Lame Book Chronicles.
Lame Book Chronicles chapter in this ongoing tale of spiraling that we're in.
Yeah.
It's spiral, dude. Because the funny thing is that even though I don't have Facebook, or rather I do have Facebook, I don't post anything, I don't interact with anybody there. I've never had Reddit. I do go on Google and type things along the lines of how to microwave a hot dog, Reddit at the end, just so I can get the Reddit results.
Yeah.
That's the only engagement I have in Reddit. I don't engage with Reddit at all whatsoever other than that. But I do have Instagram. I still have it. And I have X, which I guess is Twitter. I do have all these other social media platforms. I also don't post in any of those, but I do go in those, like on Instagram I go in there like once a week. Like I barely go in there like at all. But on Twitter I go in there like frequently. You know, I go in there like frequently because everybody's just in there. Everybody's just posting shit in there, and you know, so it's like
Twitter's the Wild West now, probably
Twitter's
with
the Wild
Elon
West,
Musk. Elon Musk
yeah.
probably lets people put anything on there.
Somewhat, yeah. He's always posting on there too. He's like always tweeting shit out.
God, that guy sucks, man. I mean, you know, kudos to him for accomplishing what he's accomplished, but that guy,
Yeah.
that guy really sucks.
No, that he sucks. He
Agreed.
sucks.
Yeah, Reddit will
Oh
make
my
you
God.
Reddit will make you depressed. I actually like really I like there will
I don't
be
go in there.
if there's like a day or two that where I'm like on Reddit more than usual, like that shit will make you depressed because there's like
But
anonymity.
you have been a Reddit warrior because you know you had those tales of getting banned.
Yeah,
Karma farmer.
yeah. Because you get pissed at people on Reddit because like there's anonymity and people on
everywhere.
say what?
That's how they get you.
Yeah, no, I know. No, dude, I would like, yeah, if you just, because like Reddit, there's anonymity on Reddit, so everybody kind of knows this. Like Reddit, you know, people are just bitches on there, man. They're just bitches. They troll, you know, they troll you. They, you know, they just make snide remarks that are unnecessary. It really, dude, Reddit's probably the worst, man.
Well, dude.
And there's like all kinds of hypochondriacs on there too. You know, they're just like, oh my God, like, you know, my life is over. I got a cold. And like now I'm like 2 months later, I'm fatigued and I can't go outside and like I'm dizzy. And you're just like, holy fuck. Like
that's like the number one to me. That's what it's like happening in there for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like shit like that. But the funny thing is that to me, what Reddit is also like emblematic of is people, especially moderators, having power trips.
Oh yeah. I saw one of my favorite, dude. Yeah, on that topic, one of my favorite like threads that I ever saw on Reddit was like there was like this thread where people had to like basically submit a comment requesting to become a part of the Reddit group. And then when the mods would be like, "Yeah, you're clear, you're in," like the people would comment, like the people would reply back to them like, "Thank you, my lord."
Oh my God!
Like obviously, like to make fun of them. I thought that was hilarious, because they know that like the mods are just on a power trip. But I think, and I talked about that. I'll be quick on this point. I talked about that group before that I thought was just that I think is completely stupid. It's called like r/TrueRateMe.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, that is like the worst subreddit on the entire platform. Like basically what it is like people posting a collection of selfies and then asking people to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. It gets worse, dude. Just
this is part of the reasons why I've never interacted on Reddit.
You're gonna be.
It's terrible.
Oh, it gets worse. You would think that's bad enough, but then this is what they do. They have this like PDF that shows you like this is what a 1 out of 10 looks like. This is what a 5 out of 10 looks like. This is like our rating scale. And so if you go in and like say, you know, according to the scale, this person is like a 6 and you give them an 8, the moderator will be like, strike 1, comment removed for overrating. And it's like, okay, hang on a second. If it's supposed to be objective, then what is the point of the entire exercise? Like, what is the point of this? Why does the person need to post? They can just open the fucking PDF, see which of these photos they generally resemble, and bounce. Why do we need to comment here? And dude, at one point too, I see like a mod in there and she's like, yeah, I myself am an 8 out of 10. I think it's really, you know, I think it's just too much for ugly people for them to do what we do here. And it's like, do what we do. Okay, first of all, do what we do. What are you, like, curing cancer? Second of like she's talking like it's like some kind of like it's the Peace Corps, like it's the fucking do what we do. Like we're doing we're in the trenches, like we're doing important work.
Fellas,
and second of all, you're not a 9. You're not an 8 out of 10. There's no way. All the mods in there are probably like the ugliest motherfuckers. To be in there and to be a mod, like shaking your finger like that, there's no way. There's no way you're actually an attractive person.
Dude,
what were you gonna say?
Fellas, as you're talking about this, I went to Rate Me. And so I'm looking at their chart because they have it one for men and one for women.
Yeah.
Why don't we play a game?
Okay.
So let's play a game. And I'm basically just gonna ask you, on the men's side, we're not gonna fuck around on the women's side of things. On the men's rating scale, okay, where is this gentleman? Don't look at the rating scale, please. Just don't look at the man's rating scale.
Okay.
So that we can do this. Okay.
Okay.
Each one of you guys is gonna get a guess.
Are you putting it in the chat?
No, I'm just gonna ask you the name of the guy. Okay. I'm gonna tell you who the celebrity is. If you guys want to, when I tell you, you can Google them. I'm not gonna bother sending you a picture of them. And if you want to look at after we do this game, if you want to look at the rating scale, you can look at it on your own time. So I went in here and immediately made me laugh. So let's start with this one. Do you guys know what Flavor Flav looks like?
Oh yeah, I've heard people shit on him for his looks.
So that being said, Jake, from 1 to 10, and you also have a point. So this is how it is, Jack. So this is how this stuff works, I guess, on TrueRateMe. It's like you can be, let's say you can be a 1 or a 1.5 or a 2, 2.5, and that way successively. So you can either be like a whole or a point something. So that being said, Jack, from 1 to 10 or a point something, where's Flavor Flav?
Yeah, I'm not trying to get kicked off the podcast here. I'm gonna have to lock in real quick, but I don't want to get strike one. I would probably say like with like none of the bling, none of the nothing, like probably like a 3.5.
Well, and this is the thing. This is not like, for those listening, also a caveat, where this is trying to guess where these ludicrous, right, dumbass like Reddit thing, like so where they say what?
You're in the true TrueRateMe or whatever thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
So it's like I want us to basically get at like where these folks that created this rating scale, where they placed these people. But I'm not at the celebrity thing. I'm like looking at the chart, Jake. Like
so they used him in the chart in the
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And not just him. There's other celebrities.
I'm guessing they put him in the 3 zone. I would personally give Flavor Flav. I mean, I think he's like, he's not a horrible looking guy. I mean, he's like slightly, below average. Like it doesn't fucking matter for like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
that's the thing. Like
think about these guys. It's like where do you think they placed?
No, I know. I would say these mods, these the esteemed moderators of Reddit, put this guy in probably the 3 zone, maybe 2.5.
Okay, give me a final number.
3.
Okay, and Jack, you're 3.5, right?
Yep.
Jack, it's 3.5.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Now, I have a couple more for you guys, okay? Ed Sheeran.
Oh.
4.5, I think, is where they put him. That's my guess.
That's your final number?
Yeah.
Jack, what do you think?
I don't know, dude. I think it's lower. I'm not going to lie. I think it's 2.5. I'm not going to lie.
So we have a 2.5, and a 4.5, right?
Yeah.
It's 4. So
Okay,
Jake, you win. You
alright.
win by proximity. Okay,
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
two
yeah.
more. I got 2 more. DJ Khaled.
Jesus
5.
Christ.
Okay.
Like average, probably.
Okay.
I mean,
Actually, I
True's
have
got
2
a
more
nice
after
beard
this.
going for him. He's got a nice beard going for him.
Warning, strike 1. We don't rate facial hair, only faces.
Is that actually part of it?
Oh, dude, I'm pretty sure I've seen one of them say that before. God, I mean, they're such bitches, dude.
I mean, if it's like straight off, like just face, bro, I think we're at 3.
So you have 3, and Jake, you have, what is it?
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think.
So for
I don't
DJ
think they would have given him
Khaled,
a 3.
so we're even because they gave him a 4. So right now, Jack, you
Mm.
have 2 points. Jake, you have 2 points. Okay. We have 2 more. The next one is this is the one that made me laugh the most because of the picture they have of him here. Jay-Z.
Oh. I think they probably gave him a 4. 4
Yeah.
flat. Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
would guess if I were again one of these beautiful people known as Reddit moderators.
Okay.
It depends on the hair, you know. That Jay-Z's gone through some interesting, but strictly on face, yeah, probably 4.
A 4? Okay. And so, boys, you have a 3 and a 3 because they gave him a 4.
Let's go.
And now, this is the last one. Hopefully a tiebreaker. If not, then your boys are
Yeah.
just both as good at judging where they would place these folks. Maybe one of you guys is the Reddit moderator.
Right? Yeah.
Strike 2, Jay.
Ultimate twist.
So this is the last one, okay? Jonah Hill.
I would say they probably gave him like a 4.5.
Okay. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just doing everybody dirty, man.
Jack's out here underrating. You're
Oh my God.
banned
dude.
permanently.
I think they could, you know, I could probably get into this moderator job with these ratings. I'm gonna go 3.
The winner of today's guess where they put the celebrity, I guess, on TrueRateMe game, and possibly a Reddit TrueRateMe moderator because of the exactitude of the rating that he provided for this specific rating. It's Jake.
Oh,
I wasn't cheating. I swear to God. I swear to God. You got me. I'm a Reddit moderator.
Oh God.
What is it like? Does a Reddit
ridiculous.
moderator doesn't get paid, right? They just like
No,
they're just people on the
not at all.
they just exist.
Pro bono
dude.
They
What
just exist.
what would
for
it
the good of
take?
society.
Yeah, why? What? Who? I want to know like who these moderators are, man. I mean, it's God, dude. What the hell is? Again, what the hell is going on? Look at this.
And
So
even-
20,
and even
20
looking-
male.
even looking.
Why are
yeah.
you posting in here 20 male? Do I need a nose job, fellas? Be honest. Like, dude, no,
Oh,
stop. You don't need a nose job. Get on. Don't ask these bitches on Reddit like about your face. You're fine. Go outside. Like, talk to people. Just live your life. Like, stop asking people on Reddit like what they
Or
think of your
just get the
face.
fucking nose job if you want it. Like,
I guess, yeah, if you want it,
if you really want it.
don't make
You
it
don't
like a crowdsourced. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I feel like your problems, anytime you go to Reddit for a solution, it always makes your problem worse. You never get a real solution, and it always
No.
because that's the thing. If like you look up like symptoms of something, like that's the worst thing you can do is
That's
go
the
on
word.
Reddit.
You
People-
you should never. Nobody.
No.
Anybody listening to this, don't ever do that.
Yeah, don't ever go on Reddit asking about medical
Mm-mm.
shit. Like,
No.
talk to your doctor. Like, people are gonna freak you out, man. And I'm telling you, like, all of these people that are on there telling you that, like, oh my god, I have my doctors won't do anything for me. They say that I'm fine, but my insides are rotting out. Blah blah blah. You know, it's like if you go back through their post history, you're gonna gradually realize that like they were always like this. Like before this so-called thing happened to them, like they were always like this. So don't look at this shit and be like, oh my god, what if that's me? Like, oh, you know, it's like, no, they were like this before. This is just like the latest thing in their hypochondriac shit, which I'm not trying to like, I don't know if people are going to come out, be like, oh my God, this is ableist or whatever. Like, but it's just, I really think like I really do think like our generation got fucked though, man, because I think there's like so many people that like go on Reddit and make all these like anxiety posts. Oh my God, I can't talk. Oh my God. Like there's like a small dick problems Reddit where so
Yeah, dude, you
Small
got
dick
kicked.
problem.
Yeah,
yeah. No, so there's a small dick problems
that's exactly
Reddit.
what it sounded like. Like you were. I'm sorry. Oh, there is like a Reddit that is literally set like titled that.
Yeah, and it's like people in there
wow.
all day just commiserating and like wallowing about like their small penis. It's like, dude, what? This is not going to help you. It's just not.
No, yeah. Oh my God, that's fucking stupid. That's so fucking stupid, bro.
I think the word. Look at this one. This is r/small dick problems. I think the worst part for me is feeling like a cripple.
Oh
Dude,
my God,
what? The loneliness doesn't bother me as much anymore. In fact, I prefer being alone. The sexual frustration still gets
Do
me,
you really?
but I can live with it. Feeling like a cripple is the worst part. Everyone seems to have a much bigger dick than mine. Wait, first of all, how do you know?
that?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
100%.
How do you know that? I feel like stuff like this. Like this is my theory, I guess. Like I feel like stuff like this, and together with like actually like a lot of issues and stuff that we kind of see a lot happening these days with guys of our generation, or even with like couples. It's like these dudes and women all the time with just like so much like I don't know, just like so much stuff tied to like weird insecurities. And I feel like for guys, I think it's like honestly, dude, it's like prawn addiction.
Yeah, corn addiction.
Yeah, it's like like an addiction to that stuff because it's like otherwise like how do like who gives a fuck,
Yeah.
like unless you're like unless this dude who posted that's probably spending all day doing this stuff,
Looking
feeling
at
bad,
Yeah.
horses, bro.
feeling bad about himself, and it's like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like all this stuff has hurt us in such like human beings have just. I feel like all this stuff has just like destroyed us, like just having access to all this bullshit all the time, man.
Yeah, I mean, how much better
Honestly.
would like the people like this person who are posting here? Like, how much better? I guarantee, if like none of people like this who post about this type of stuff on Reddit, like if Reddit didn't exist, I guarantee, I think their lives would be exponentially better.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Like
Well,
all the like you can't say that word either. Inkwells, people who want to be
Yeah.
having sex but aren't, like that. It's like how much time that you are you spending have you spent on Reddit bitching about it and like commiserating
Right.
about it? If you
Right.
took like all of that time, it'd probably be like weeks of your life that you could have spent going out, meeting girls, like talking to women,
Right.
getting photos for a dating app, working out to
Mhm.
look better, getting a good
Exactly.
haircut, like etc.
Yeah. And that's the fascinating thing, isn't it? That it's like, everything, a lot of issues, if you're listening to this podcast, whoever you are, don't pay attention to what the hell we're saying. We're not professionals. We're three guys having fun. But that being said, I feel like a lot of the time, like issues that people have, right? Especially like things that have to do with whatever drives a dude to go on such subreddits, um, can be solved with just occupying yourself doing other things instead of being on the internet. Like you said, like go out for a walk, go hike, exercise, just do something, that ideally is like productive, And if you feel like you have too much fucking work, then get another job. Work 2 jobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like have some kind of occupational therapy. Get the hell out of your house, or out of whatever is making it so that you're just like on your phone, engaging with weirdos all day. It's fascinating when you think about the fact that, us as human beings, at some point in time, not long ago, we were able to basically just like pack our shit up and leave and go even to like the next town
Yeah.
over. And nobody would know you. You could start a whole fucking life, dude. You could just
Yeah.
pack it up and leave your family, your children, and, and become Todd Jenkins,
Yeah.
in whatever county, And now that's like gone, and we've traded it for whatever the heck this is of people complaining about
I mean, I
about
swear
their
though,
body parts on Reddit.
I mean, you could not torture some of the information, fictionally torture
Out of
some
me.
of, out of me. I mean, it is crazy to me that out of all the places some people choose
Oh,
to be vulnerable and like, say stuff like that is the internet.
But it's that
Because
phony anonymity, isn't it? It's like, take that away from people, and nobody's gonna be doing any of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, dude. Well, speaking of that, Jack, I actually, I should have brought this up during the Facebook section, but I have this like, someone, someone else in my family was like showing me his like posts on Facebook, and it was like he was like going into detail. It was like I wish I could find the post, but I think it was like so long ago. I doubt I'll be able to find it because again, he's one of those people that just posts like 5 a day of just like this is what I'm doing, and this is what I think about this, but like his post basically amounted to like, oh, woke up with like some stomach pain, I couldn't pass a stool, and like I couldn't was on the toilet for like 3 hours, had to be rushed to the hospital. Yeah.
You should go get it.
Yeah.
He's gonna poop Bono.
Yeah. The fucking South Park episode. Yeah, he was basically like he was like, oh, and then like I couldn't poop, so I went to the doctors, and then like the doctor was phenomenal, gave me this medicine, and I was able to poop fine.
Inside my
You're right. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you sharing this? And then people comment on it like, glad you're okay, get well. And it's like,
God.
oh, fuck.
Don't do, please, everybody. Somebody should comment and be like, please, everybody, don't do this. Please don't enable him. Please.
I told my family that
it's like these daughters. Like, please don't enable my father. Please don't enable my father.
Listen, dude, because like I know his daughters, and I just kind of like pictured. I felt bad for. I felt the worst for them during that when I was reading that, because I was like, they probably just looked at that and were just like, oh God, Dad, like. But I wanted really bad. I told my family, I was like, I really want to just comment like a poop emoji and nothing else. Like just put poop emoji in the comments.
Please don't enable my father.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, the internet sucks, man. I mean, yeah, but what you were saying about Reddit is completely correct. Yeah, like you go on there and like you try to get like some anecdotal stuff on like, oh, what's your experience with this? Like, oh, how long did it take you to recover from I don't know, certain virus that YouTube doesn't like us talking about, and you just hear all these horror stories, just and then like some of it's true, some of it might be exaggerated, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like whenever I do that, whenever I find myself looking at stuff like that, I'm like, shit, I felt better before,
Right.
I'm like, just turn the damn thing off.
Well, and it's also
close the damn app.
I don't know if this has been either of you guys' experience, but a lot of the time, people just like mislead you, or just don't answer something. Like, because I've gone before, like searching for like, oh, what do I do in this kind of situation, kind of things, and somebody would go on there and be like, I just had that situation, like I would basically look a question up and be like, Reddit, and then you go on the subreddit and there's like 10 posts there, and there's always one person there, in my experience, that poses as if they have the answers, and then they just never answer it. People will comment and be like, could you please elaborate, or could you please tell me? And then they just disappear. And he's like, dude, what happened? Where's the answer to this? Like, it's such a like Reddit is such like a frustrating thing,
Yeah.
because it's like you don't even get the answers. And even when somebody's there being like, oh, I just went through this. And it's like, well, yes, please elaborate.
Yeah.
Don't just ghost these entire subreddit. They just ghost, and somebody will post being like, oh, he never came back, could you please respond? They're
Yeah.
not gonna respond.
Like 2 years later, update, please.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
I hate all that shit, bro.
Yeah, it's awful. I wanted to bring up one of our, I guess, technically a colleague, dude, Rob Ager, man. Rob Ager.
Oh, okay. I watched a couple of his new videos because I know that he's been like, I know he's just been shedding on movies like Furiosa
Yeah.
and shedding on
He shit on Alien Romulus.
Alien. Yeah, he's just been shedding on movies. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was totally into him shitting on Alien Romulus. No, I think Rob Ager is probably my favorite film critic. And like I don't agree with everything he says. Some of his takes I think are like, or at least a couple of his takes I think are awful. Like one that I can think of off the top of my head is he called the Hannibal TV show unwatchable. I was like, dude, come on, man.
That's
like
so far from the truth.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
I disagree with him, and I've only seen one episode.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
Yeah, he has bad takes, but like you, I have a lot of respect for him. He has a lot of great points on a lot of movies.
Yeah, he has a lot of great essays, but he also does like psychology and like philosophy essays too. And he recently came out with a video essay that he did called.
He needs to stop shilling his website. It's like, dude, just post them on YouTube. I'm not gonna pay for your website. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but I will watch them on YouTube, and I'm gonna like the video. Just post them on YouTube.
Yeah. But he posted the psychology of anger and revenge fantasies, and I thought that was pretty interesting because you know what movie I've been wanting to rewatch is that movie I Saw the Devil, which is like
Oh yeah, dude, I would love to rewatch that with you.
Yeah, that's like
you don't have to wait for me though.
No, that's like the epitome of great revenge, like anger and revenge films. Because it really dives deep into a lot of the stuff he was talking about. I actually listened over the past like week, just while I was like doing different things. I listened to that video probably like 2 or 3 times, like over. Like it was just so good, like so well put.
I do that a lot too with those videos.
Yeah, it was really well thought out. But he like coined some terms too that I thought was interesting, and he sort of talked about how like like if you've been wronged in the past, sort of like the anger and revenge fantasies that you have are sort of a coping mechanism and sort of a denial about what happened. It's like you want to, get back at the person to sort of like balance the scales and erase what happened to you essentially because that memory is like tormenting you. And one thing that he said that I thought was very interesting was he talked about basically how a lot of the revenge fantasies that people have are I forget the word that I'm looking for, but it's like it's like they want
fulfillment.
Well, it's like it's like what they want to do to the person that wronged them is like way worse than what the person actually did to them. So like the revenge would be like way worse than what was actually done to you. I forget I forget the word I'm looking for. It's just like unbalanced or whatever. But I thought that was super interesting. And he gave an example like someone says something to you and you punch them in the face. That's like, that's like you're doing something worse to them than what they did to you.
And that's what's fascinating, I think, about a movie that you and I rewatched recently, Oldboy, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a movie that it's like, I guess you could say, like an anti-revenge fantasy film.
Yeah.
That markets itself as a revenge fantasy. But that's a fascinating movie because, it's like playing with that, obviously, I feel like a clear, and you can argue with me about this if you disagree, but I feel like a clear statement that the movie is making is that oftentimes, you know, in those kind of situations that drive somebody to have these revenge fantasies, you know, oftentimes it happens that you might have done something that cost you to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
And that something that not sometimes, but that often, if not most of the time, the harder thing to do is self-examination, right?
Yeah.
Because for in Oldboy, spoilers for Oldboy, for those who haven't seen the movie, you can go back to that episode if you watch it, just to hear our conversation in depth about it. But you know, in that movie, the easy thing for him to do is just to pursue what he's trying to do. You know, just, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. You know,
Yeah.
and it's such like a threaded path that, you know, the villain was able to manipulate him even outside of him being locked in a box.
Mhm.
He knew what he wanted. You know, that animalistic instinct. I'm gonna destroy him. You know, but the hard thing for Odasu to do is to reflect,
Mhm.
you know, and think to himself, what could I have done, you know, that somebody would do this to me, you know?
Right.
And even despite spending 10 years in a prison, you know, he was not able to come up with the answer to that. So
All he could think
it's
about was getting
fascinating.
his revenge.
Exactly. So it's fascinating, isn't it? And all the effort that he put into that. He got in shape, he learned how to fight,
Yeah.
you know. So it's fascinating.
They can receive.
There's I can't wait to listen to that Rob Ager. And it's funny because you know that I was kind of doing this long drives. I listened to a lot
what
of
they did.
kind of very enlightening stuff, just kind of podcasts for the most part. Nothing really worth mentioning. But I wish I would have remembered that Rob Ager had some videos out because I would have listened to that on during that trip.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a great essay, man. It's something, there's something kind of addictive about it, because like I feel like revenge is about his essay. I mean, because revenge is like a topic. This is like the topic that I think I'm most interested in storytelling. Like a lot of my favorite, you know, things, you know, just a lot of my favorite stories and stuff have to do with revenge or kind of like getting back at somebody. I mean, I just rewatched a lot of Breaking Bad. I just had it on like while I was working, like through the workday. And when you do that, you're surprised at how quickly you can get through a TV show if you have it playing on in the background while you're working from home. But like, yeah, like I mean, and you know, obviously, like I'm working, so I'm not getting kind of like the full experience of it, but. It was crazy. It was great rewatching that show, man. And so much of that show, and Better Call Saul for that matter, are, you know, kind of about revenge. Like you look at a character like Gus Fring. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, like in Better Call Saul, if it's not clear in Breaking Bad, it's very clear in Better Call Saul that Gus's entire drug empire was built for the sole purpose of him getting revenge on Hector and the cartel for killing his boyfriend. You know, like I mean, it's I think it's very clear, like in the text. I don't even think that's a controversial statement to make. But yeah, like it just it's a fascinating topic, man. Oh, this is what Rob Ager called that disproportionate revenge. So that's when you want to like really like get somebody back, you know, but worse, that you want to punch back twice as hard, you know. And then he talks about revenge cycles, and he kind of coined the term revenge dominoes, which is interesting because it's basically this idea of like, let's say you get wronged by somebody, and then you hurt them back, and then if they don't hurt you back, they go on and take sort of like surrogate revenge on somebody else. So it's just sort of this domino effect of like, you know.
Right. It's fascinating. There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother, of all things. For those who don't know, I'm a big How I Met Your Mother fan. I've watched that show like 10 times. It was my comfort show for a while. There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother where, interestingly enough, dude, Bob Odenkirk, I think he's like the guest guy in the episode.
Oh, interesting.
And the whole thing is that he is Jason Segel's boss, and he yells at Jason Segel.
Yeah, yeah.
And he like yells at him and puts him down, and he just constantly, and it makes Jason Segel basically just want to, I guess, like hurt the guy or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And Barney Stinson, who is Neil Patrick Harris's character, he explains it to Ted. Ted is the main character. He says like, he says it's like the chain of yelling or something, or like the pyramid of yelling. I forget what the hell it is that he calls it, but it basically goes like, your boss yells at you, and then you yell at your wife, and then your wife yells at your kids. And,
Yeah.
So it's like basically
your kids
that,
bully someone at school.
Exactly. So it's basically that, just like this thing where this pent up anger cannot be released towards the actual like cause, right? And so then it's released in an equal, if not greater fashion than how it was applied to you, to a different person, different target, or and then that person has to carry that, and then that person has, very fascinating. I guess I'm guessing, since I kind of went on this little tangent, that Rob Ager was kind of making a point like
That's
that.
exactly the point. Yeah, you're right on the money. Yeah,
How I Met Your Mother was ahead of Rob Ager.
That's so funny, but that's actually very astute for a sitcom, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's a good show, man. Like, it gets, like every sitcom, it goes bad. But have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
I've seen it all just one time, so I'm not as keen to like,
but
episode basis. But I get the vibe.
Yeah, but like the first few seasons are great, and I think that's one of the episodes in like around a handful of first seasons.
Barney's the best character, man.
He's the best.
He's awesome.
And every episode, which is funny too, every episode ends with like a little like, I guess, like bro code rule, right? Which is also really fun, because then you stay for the credits and you read whatever like the bro code rule is. Like, bros shall, assist other bros if other bros need assistance, shit like that.
Yeah. I thought so. It's kind of tight. Yeah, sorry, I stuttered there.
You're good.
My brain, dude. To kind of wrap this up, like, I think one of the really interesting things that Rob Ager said in the video too, was he kind of talks about, like, he basically talks, he goes into some like strategies to actually like deal with anger and revenge fantasies and stuff too, which are interesting. I won't really go into those now. You can go check out the video. But one thing that he talks about, he talks about things to keep in mind, especially if it's been a long time since the person who wronged you did what they did. That person really no longer exists. Like, they've changed. They could be a better person now. They could be a much worse person. So if you go and like get revenge on your abuser 10 years later, you're not really, you're getting revenge on a different person, on like, you're not, it's not the same person, I thought that was an interesting point to kind of chew on, one thing that I find interesting, and I don't know, we can shelve this, for like another time, but like something about revenge that I find kind of interesting in the philosophy of it, because, there's a lot of literature on like, well, if you take revenge, you're just going to feel worse afterward, so like it feels good in the moment and then you're going to feel worse afterward. And the philosophical question that I've sort of posed, and by the way, I'm not like a pro revenge like maniac or anything like that, but I just like thinking about these things. Sort of the question that I posed was, is that a reason to not take revenge necessarily? Because there's a lot of things we do that feel great in the moment that we know is not going to feel great after, but we still do it,
Could you rephrase this? I think I couldn't follow you.
Yeah, so like the idea that if you take revenge on somebody, right, and it feels great, but then afterward you're going to feel worse than you did before. The question is that necessarily a reason to not take revenge?
Well, it's
because,
fascinating. What?
Yeah, I was just going to add, because I feel like we do a lot of things in life where we know we're going to feel worse afterward, but we would consider them worth doing. Like, for example, going out and partying and like drinking, you know, you're going to feel shitty the next day, but you know, it's going to subside and it's worth it in the moment to do it, you know? So, and this is not like a pro revenge, like tirade or something. I just think it's an interesting question, you know?
I think it is a very interesting question. It's interesting because immediately, like just off of you kind of finishing your point, I don't think I have an answer to it, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not.
I would have to think about it because honestly, the genuine thought that I have, which is the thought that I usually have with philosophical questions, this was my issue in philosophy class in college, but um, it's that it's like, well, yes and no, right? Because it's like it always feels kind of like subjective in a way where it's like it depends on the scale, but it's like, is it worth it? Yes. And is that also a reason not to do it? Yes. It almost feels like that both. It almost feels like there's two answers to that question, but there might be a greater answer. I'll search for it on the toilet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do my thinking.
Kind of where that question takes me, and kind of where I arrived at was like, is this, revenge or idea of revenge something that's like holding that person back from moving on? Is it something like, did something happen to the scale of like, you're literally just not able to like continue like on and get past it? Like, is it necessary to take the revenge, get the instant gratification, and then just deal with the, feeling worse?
Yeah.
But is that all kind of necessary to move forward in the end?
Right.
I think some things that could probably be the case.
Right.
Some things it could probably be something you could have let slide. I think it's
Right.
on a per case basis.
Right, and that's kind of what I was thinking too, and because then also, but even a question like that, then arises a symposium like that arises its own sort of set of questions. One of them being, I guess like the idea of like I guess something external preventing a person from moving forward. And I feel like then you have to wrestle with whether or not that's valid.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
No, I totally do. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like it really, I guess the best conclusion I came to was it really, I guess, just depends on on each person individually, you know?
Right.
Because
Right.
again, it's
Right.
like there's a lot of people that took revenge and it probably felt great in the moment, but they're in jail now, you know?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, dude, right. Well, but it's
I bet it doesn't
fascinating.
feel so good then. You're probably like, man, I wish I just would have let it go, you know?
It's fascinating, and to bring Oldboy back, I'm not gonna go into spoil. Have you seen Oldboy, Jack?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Oldboy is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think it's one of those like essential viewings. So I'm not gonna spoil that movie for you at all. And it's great that you were not here for a bit when you had to step out for a second, because I said some stuff that so you don't
Light
re-listen to this
spoilers, I
podcast.
guess.
Yeah, light spoilers. Watch Oldboy if you can, when you can.
Yeah, I'm adding
But,
it to my queue.
but I'm going to make a brief point about it, and it is that I feel like that movie, Jake, and I think you would agree with this, also argued kind of that idea, right? In the sense that, in a way, it almost feels like, you know, he put himself in a position where, I mean, it's kind of, he put himself in a position where he didn't have to do the things that he did. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he had established enough to be like, like, oh, you have something to care for here.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say any more than that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Shit, there was something else I was gonna add, but I think I might have forgotten it. Nope, it's gone. All right. Anyway, we got to move on anyway. But
Yeah.
but oh, I thought it was coming back for a second there. Nope, it's gone. All right. Well, why don't we do our recaps really quick? We can just lightning round it and then
Okay.
get into the film.
I can do it very quickly because surprise, surprise, I didn't see.
Yeah, no movies.
any movies. But I did do some listening, but I don't have much to say about it either. I'm in the L's right now in my alphabetical albums journey. I listened to Lana Del Rey's discography, but then I listened to her last 4 albums, um, which are, let me see, Norman Rockwell, Chemtrails Over the Country Club, Blue Banisters, and Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? Um, and I only can say that they're all great. They all have impeccable writing and impeccable song. I mean, impeccable instrumentation and production. Anybody who likes Lana Del Rey, I would say to check it out. Anybody who likes, I guess, more soulful singer-songwriter, um, yeah, kind of ballads, I would say to listen to this because this album offers what I would consider the best of that over the past decade. Great stuff. Very feminine. A lot of stuff is just kind of very much catered to I guess just female audience or just like a somebody who relates more to those kind of themes and those kind of struggles. But it's the album still come across as being very universal. Um, Again, beautiful production. Saddens me to say that because I kind of hate Jack Antonoff for the most part, but he produced them and he did great work. They feel very classical, and they benefit her vocals and her way of expressing herself really well. Um, Poor writing moments here and there, so many mature lyrics. For the most part, again, just 4 fantastic records. I recommend it to anybody who's listening to who vibes with anything of what I've said. And that is it.
Nice. Jack?
So it's kind of embarrassing that I hadn't seen this movie yet, but this was the only movie me and Jake watched together. We watched Dawn of the Dead.
I haven't either,
The
Jack.
original.
The original version, and I can say that it was a really fun watch, especially around this time of the year, Halloween kind of on the cusp now. Zombies are always one of the first things that comes to mind when the Halloween time rolls around. So it was a really fun watch. I did tell Jake, I don't know, somewhere in the middle portion, I felt like towards the kind of the end, it was one where I was just running out of steam because it felt like it was drawn out for a long time. But just the idea of taking like Jake had a really good reference I'm going to steal from him. Like that movie kind of felt like almost video game-ish in the way that they take over this mall area and they're kind of like uh, leveling up the area, whether that's closing off different areas or clearing out zombies. It was very uh, some of those tasks were more just kind of uh, things to do to get their area set up, but it was still really rewarding, and they did a really good job of, even though the zombies were not necessarily, anything like World War Z zombies where they're like full sprinting at you. Like they did a good job of maintaining the danger element that the zombies were definitely a threat throughout the movie. So definitely looking to watch the next part of that franchise soon. Um, Other than that, I've been listening to some Phonk music, Phonk, just being in the gym, just heavy hitting beats and just really upbeat. So I've been building a Spotify playlist with some songs from that, but really just kind of been enjoying, some more instrumental stuff. Um, I think that's probably it for the recap for me.
I dig
Yeah,
it, Jack.
Jake.
I like. It's funny you got to Dawn of the Dead before I did. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch it. But you got there before I did. I'm glad you liked it though. I vibe with it. And you said what is it? Phonk?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna
yeah.
look it up.
It's like really aggressive, heavy music.
Yeah.
Really bass heavy and just
Yeah.
like yeah, it gets me in the mood for the
Yeah.
gym for
Oh, then
sure.
I'm gonna look into it because you and I share a lot of I feel like tastes. But Jake, what do you have?
Yeah, dude. I just remembered what I was gonna say. I was gonna make a joke during that revenge segment because we were talking about not being able to move on from it, and I was gonna say, well, like you could use your thirst for revenge and turning it into something positive, like Gustavo Fring built a drug empire, off of his desire for revenge. So like he took that and leveled up from his desire.
Yeah, he leveled
for
up. Dude, he
revenge.
got rich.
Yeah, man, dude, he got
and famous.
Yeah, man.
Different route than getting on Reddit and complaining.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
how terrible his life is.
Yeah.
He was productive. He got productive. He put pen to paper on that one.
Gus Fring on Reddit just can't stop hating Hector Salamanca. But no, watching Dawn of the Dead is always great. Like, it's such a great movie that one of the best of the 70s. And I can't even imagine how, I was telling Jack, like, I can't even imagine how unique that felt back then, like a zombie movie. Because now zombie movies are a dime a dozen, but like back then, it's like, dude, that was a whole new thing. Like just this whole concept of not only this plague that basically causes the dead to rise and try to eat human flesh, and when they bite you, you turn into one of them. But also kind of like the world that creates, this post-apocalyptic world where there's also like, groups of people that are at odds and fighting over resources and stuff. Like what a unique, I don't know, just a unique sort of mythology. That must have been really awesome back then to see that for the first time. But yeah, and then I watched for the first time. Because I think I mentioned maybe last week the one of the novels that I want to write next is going to be sort of like a prison escape thing combined with a little bit of like Saw torture porn type stuff, and then like Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. So for sort of the like gore and torture aspect, to get a little bit of like influence for that, I watched for the first time Hostel by Eli Roth.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah. So I watched the first one for the first time ever. I think it was like Friday night, maybe, that I watched that. There were a couple things about Hostel that surprised me. One, I would say the biggest thing that surprised me was how, like, it's not that shocking. Like, you hear all the time, like, oh, that movie's like so gory, it's so shocking, blah, blah. And there are a couple scenes that are like, holy shit. But it's really just a couple scenes. Like, a lot of the violence happens off camera. It's more tame than you would think, considering if you haven't seen it but have heard about it, you're probably picturing something a lot worse than what the final product actually is.
Well, there's also sequels to that shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they upped the ante in the sequels. I'm sure. I think I've seen clips from like the second one, and yeah, that shit's like horrendous. But yeah, the first one, like, not awful. I mean, it's no worse than like stuff you see in Saw. I think I've seen like worse stuff in some of the Saw scenes from some of the Saw sequels. Like, not terrible. And then the second thing that kind of surprised me was just how Tarantino-esque the movie felt. Because I know that Eli Roth is like a kind of a protege, I guess, of Tarantino. Like, he was in Inglourious Bastards.
He's in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, he plays the Bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards, and then Quentin Tarantino produced Hostel. And yeah, it has Tarantino's like, stamp all over it. Like, it just feels very Tarantino, like especially that first half of the movie, just with the witty dialogue and the way it's filmed and stuff, has a very Tarantino feel to it. I will say the movie is it takes a long time for it to get going. And I just felt like when we were getting toward the halfway point, I was like, okay, like, I need something to happen now, so it definitely drags at certain points. I thought the switcheroo that they did was really interesting, where in the first act, you think the main character is going to be like that nerdy guy, and then they're like, psych, nope, the main character is actually like the kind of like braggadocious, like douchebag dude or whatever. I thought that was kind of that was kind of a cool, like, rug pull that they did. Okay, and then rapid fire, like, my girlfriend and I watched Jeepers Creepers. That was her first time seeing it. I've seen that movie.
My first time seeing it, I think you and I watched it together too.
Yeah. I mean, all I will say about that movie is like I think we've talked about it before on the podcast. Like it's just so well made and so well directed that it's really is a shame that like it's just riddled with plot holes. It's just riddled with so many plot holes that it brings it down. I think if the story actually made sense, if it actually had a good script there, man, that could be like an all-time great horror film if the movie made a lick of sense, because the plot holes, I mean, it's like stupid if you think characters are stupid in the Friday the 13th movies, I mean, they are stupid in this Stu, first name Stu, last name Pitt in this movie, dude. Like horrifically stupid. Not to mention that the guy who directed it is a horrible person and should never, ever work in Hollywood ever again, but we won't get into that. And should not be making movies anymore and go away. And then I rewatched after I mentioned I was rewatching Breaking Bad, which is so amazing. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows I don't need to even talk about that. I rewatched El Camino. I don't know. I feel the same way I did about it before. It's fine. It's like an unnecessary epilogue to Breaking Bad. I think Jesse's story is fine the way it was, the way it ended in Breaking Bad, which I won't go into detail about because I don't want to spoil it for people listening. And yeah, let's get into the movie.
All right, dude. Well, this week, listener, if you remember the very last bits of last week, I said I was gonna make us watch something that was gonna make us, I guess, regret watching it. So, let's add some context to that sentence. Everybody, we watched Noroi, The Curse, Japanese movie from 2005, directed by Koji Shiraishi. Everything is real, I've already died, everybody. That's the tagline for this movie. Written by Koji Shiraishi and Naojuki Yokota, and shot by Shoso Morishita. Guys, either one of you guys.
Jack, go for it.
Tell me your
I'll let you go first, Jake. I feel like you guys do a better job of building the laying the groundwork with the podcast experience.
You had a lot to say. You had a lot of interesting stuff to say, though. But okay, all right. So yeah, so Noroi, The Curse, mockumentary. I was pleasantly surprised by that because I knew this was some sort of mockumentary, but I didn't know if it was going to be a mockumentary along the lines of like Lake Mungo or something like that, or if it was going to be found footage like, you know, Blair Witch Project or one of the million other, you know, found footage movies. It's more of a mockumentary. There's scenes that feel like found footage. It has a very like rough sort of like unfinished mockumentary feel to it, but it is a mockumentary. And I've said this before. I think I said this last year on the podcast when we were doing the Halloween special last year, and I talked about Lake Mungo. I think that would be a really cool horror subgenre to blow up. I think that'd be really cool to actually do mockumentaries, because we had that huge, with Paranormal Activity, we had that huge found footage boom in the 2010s. And I think that it would be cool if we had a boom for mockumentary horror films, because there's not really that many of them. There's this one, Lake Mungo. There's The Last Broadcast. And then I think there's one from like the 70s called Boggy Creek about like a Bigfoot type creature that I haven't seen, but I've heard of it. And those are really the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. Poughkeepsie Tapes. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that.
But I think it's a really interesting subgenre that I think should be tapped into, because I remember like growing up as a kid, I was big on documentaries. I really liked watching documentaries as a kid. And there were a lot of documentaries that I would watch, whether it was about like, I would watch documentaries about Bigfoot, documentaries about ghosts, UFOs, even documentaries about like, you know, bears could be creepy, you know, documentaries about mummies. Like there was some documentaries that I watched as a kid like would creep me out, you know, just because of the tone or the way they were filmed or the subject matter or a combination of all of that stuff. And I think there's untapped potential there. So I find the horror mockumentary to be an effective tool. And I thought it was really effective in this movie. This movie definitely creeped me out. There were a number of scenes where I had that pit in my stomach, man. It freaked me out a few times. Probably, I don't think it wasn't as effective as Lake Mungo, and it didn't leave as much of a mark on me as Lake Mungo did. But it was effective. I think the opening was very effective, how they sort of gave away the ending. And then it was like, this is what happened to this guy after he made this documentary. Now we're going to show you the documentary, you know, and you're like, oh shit. You know, I thought that was effective. The whole, I guess, cold open, what would you call that? Yeah, like cold open maneuver. I thought worked really well here. The shot that they included that you later find out is a girl in a demon mask sort of writhing on the ground. In the beginning, you don't know what that is. So when I saw that shot, I was like, what the hell is that? Like she's writhing around on the ground and like her face looks like a demon face. I was like, what is that? It was so uncanny, man. And the way the story, the way they built it and tied together all of these threads, you got, you know, like this young psychic character. You've got this sort of older psychic character. You've got this sort of tinfoil hat wearing psychic guy. You've got different just citizens who seem to be dying for whatever reason, unexpectedly, suddenly. And just the way he sort of like pieces together that mystery was really fun. And the inclusion of footage from these talk shows I thought was really cool. And there was some really effective imagery in this movie. I mean, the scene with, you know, like at the altar with the fetuses writhing around it and that whole pile of fetuses just writhing around this altar. Horrific stuff, man. That was one moment that put a pit in my stomach. And then a fairly solid ending. I thought there was a bit too much carnage at the end. It didn't really feel scary. It felt a little overdone compared to something like the ending of Paranormal Activity, which is super effective because it's so quiet and there's only really one big like moment but it's mostly very quiet and suspenseful and sort of creeps up on you. And then I would say what holds this movie back is I would say it's a bit long. I would say that it's kind of drawn out and there's so many threads that it feels convoluted after a while. Like we keep going back to this tinfoil hat wearing guy. And then there's so many threads and characters to keep up with. I just felt it seemed bloated to me at times. It seemed bloated. It felt like I had to keep track of a lot of characters and I cared about some more than others. I got really tired of the tinfoil hat guy after a while, just screaming and screaming.
He wore very thin on me.
Yeah, he wore me down, man. I was really like, how many times can that guy say ectoplasmic worms before I'm just like, okay, I got it, dude. I got it.
I left the first time because of the South Park.
Oh yeah,
imagery.
yeah. There was a spooky ghost. This is ectoplasm. Yeah. So yeah, those were kind of the negatives, and then I think there were some things that felt clunky. Like for instance, as far as the mystery goes, for instance, I was telling Jack this. The whole thing with, you know, you see this altar with like all these writhing. Okay, so let me back up. So at first you find out that the priest's daughter worked as a nurse at a hospital performing illegal abortions, and then she would steal the fetuses to, you know, for whatever reason. I don't know if they said they speculated, I think, that maybe she was selling stem cells on the black market or something, but, you know, she was stealing them. And then we see the altar with all the writhing fetuses around it, you know, like that ghostly apparition.
Mhm.
And then we learn of the ritual to summon the demon would involve feeding baby monkeys to like a medium. And I thought that was clunky because I was like, wouldn't it make more sense to tell us that first and then give us the information about the fetuses? That way you can kind of say like, maybe an eagle-eyed viewer can kind of like, not eagle-eyed, but astute viewer can kind of be like, oh shit, like maybe that has something to do with those baby monkeys mentioned earlier. Things like that were a bit clunky for me.
Where there could have been a little bit of like editing switcheroos.
Yeah, like the reveal of information seemed like out of order at times, like in the wrong order for my tastes anyways. So it made the mystery a little bit less fun because it's just like, well, what am I really piecing together here? Like, I have no idea. It's like I just have to kind of watch someone else put a puzzle together and there's no way I can put it together, so yeah, that brought it back a little bit, and then like or that held it down a little bit for me. And then, like I said, the ending I don't think was as scary as they wanted it to be. It was a little loud, just a little bit chaotic, to where, again, we mentioned that horrendous third Conjuring movie. That was the problem with that movie. It's just so loud and chaotic that it's like, I'm not scared. What's scary is like implications, liminal spaces, shadows, whispers, quiet things. Subtlety is scary, not boom, boom, not bombastic shit everywhere. So that's kind of what held the movie back from me, and those are kind of my thoughts on this movie.
Jack, what do you have to say? Because I know that I know the movie made some kind of impression on you. I want to hear what you have to say.
I really enjoyed this movie. I haven't done a lot of watching found footage horror films like we talked about last week. I haven't really watched Paranormal Activity. Coming out of this movie, Lake Mungo is going to be something that I'm going to watch for sure. It's definitely made my list.
Yeah.
So that was a good takeaway. But one thing that I feel like this movie did really well was just keep me uncomfortable. I felt like through most of the movie there was this, not necessarily high strung tension, but at least a low strung tension where I was just like kind of anticipating something happening at any turn in it. And it was just even, not even spiritual related stuff, but even, having, some of the apartments that they're, going to, that like that one shutting guy, who's like doesn't answer the door. And then they go, talk to his neighbors and saying he's fighting with, the priestess daughter. And then they're leaving. And then, you get the camera shot of like seeing the back of, his apartment, and you see his face kind of come through. Like even little stuff like that, like kind of kept me creeped out throughout it. And, like the pigeons, constant kind of imagery of the pigeons, kind of being almost like a bearer of a message that like something bad's going to happen, was something that seemed like it was pretty dang consistent throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciated. I really liked like Jake was talking about, the mockumentary format. It felt pretty watchable for the most part. I think like there were some, points where you have that psychic kind of freaking out, or other freak out portions where the camera work gets, just really kind of all over the place. That was something that definitely, I mean, it's just part of what the genre is, but it's definitely not totally enjoyable for me as a viewer in those parts of it. Trying to think what I was mentioning to Jake. Another thing that I thought, tying into that feeling of being uncomfortable through the whole thing, was the fact that there was no really like solace throughout the whole thing. Like, shit was going down regardless of whether it was like the morning, middle of the day, night. Like there was this demon, really anything could happen around the clock. So that was something I think that went well. You know, because generally, it seems like it's the case in most horror movies where, uh, dealing with like spirits, ghosts, whatever, that it's more tied to the night. So I appreciated the fact that it was kind of uh, around the clock, constant. And just the little things that I was mentioning to Jake was like, there was like a very like far ends of the spectrum with like the demon that you see, where it's like, you have, like these people that get possessed and they're just like groaning, and it's like really creepy, really unsettling. But it wasn't particularly violent. And then all of a sudden you have like the far end of the spectrum where like people are, hanging themselves, people are getting in, mysterious accidents. I kind of enjoyed that very two end of the spectrum, where it was like there's not a whole lot of like falling down the stairs or books flying around. Like it was like very like little bit of interference, or just like people getting taken out. I also enjoyed kind of, I mean, like Jake said, the order of things could have probably been better to lead you to conclusions in a more satisfying way. But I did enjoy, trying to piece it together as going through the movie, and trying to like really figure out like what are the rules by this thing, like that this demon kind of operates by, because it was difficult to piece together, because at some points it seemed like like that one, I believe she was an actor, I think her name was Marika.
Yes.
Her, and like it's like the little contact that she had with like them just like asking her neighbor, like, oh hey, are you hearing banging on the floor or whatever, and I mean that little interference seemed like enough to her to end up being part of those 7 people that hung themselves. So it was very like kind of difficult for me to pin down, like why is this, what are the implications that get somebody to be involved with this demon and get taken out. It was definitely an interesting experience to try to piece that together, and I don't feel like it necessarily those were laid out even by the end of the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
It is nice to have some of that stuff, and talking about Reddit like we did earlier, that was one place that I went afterwards to just see like what are people thinking about this. Like I was genuinely really curious. So I really enjoyed the movie overall.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
good pick.
Yeah, I wanted to add to, like, I guess to do like a very light, quick thematic analysis of this movie, because I was trying to kind of think about like what is this movie actually about, like what's the subtext here, and I feel like there's a lot of this honestly could be like this could be like a pro like religious movie in a way, where like you could almost see this movie being shown like as an after school kind of like church special, where it's like why you shouldn't mess with demonic powers or like psychic do psychic stuff, because there's a lot of like a lot of religious people, like particularly in America, like Christian people say like don't mess with Ouija boards, don't mess with tarot cards, don't don't try to speak to spirits, that's dangerous, like all that stuff's dangerous, don't go to fortune tellers or psychic mediums, it's all channeling like dark energy, and personally I think it's all bullshit, but that is a thing among religious people. And I almost feel like this movie could have been like sort of one of those like church specials where it's like, this is what happens, because I feel like a lot of the subtext of this movie is like, don't fly too close to the sun, in a way of like, don't be messing with like powers you don't understand. Because that's all this character, the filmmaker, the entire movie, that's all he kept doing. He just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I called it, dude. I said, when it said he adopted that little boy, I was like, the first scene is going to be him asking this little boy questions and using him for information. And what did he do? The camera turns on, the little boy's sitting there trying to eat his breakfast, and the guy's asking him all these questions. And it's like, dude, you just adopted a child who's traumatized just for your fucking documentary, so you could ask about this shit. Like, the guy kind of made his own bed, Yeah,
100%. 100%.
I feel like that was kind of, for me, what I got out of this movie, the subtext. And even with the villagers, when they tried to use the demon to their advantage, and then when it wasn't, doing what they wanted it to do, they imprisoned it, and then they wanted to appease it so it wouldn't be mad at them when they let it out, if it's prisoned or they escaped or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be messing with this thing. Don't mess with it, So the whole movie is really just about people like meddling with powers that they don't understand and that they
100%.
shouldn't be messing with. That was my take on it,
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
But you can look at that from it doesn't have to be a religious message either. It can be, you can look at it from a secular lens as well. But go ahead, Edward.
A lot of the points that you made, both of you guys made, I agree with. But sadly, dude, I
oh shit. He was about to shit on it. There he is.
And we're back.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, we're back. Jesus Christ. It's funny because I lost complete track of it because I think at some point he told us that it was gonna happen and then I just forgot and then it suddenly just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point that I was making, I agree with both of you guys, but sadly, the movie just didn't grab me. After the beginning section and after specifically the Japanese kind of that show section where they had the psychic guy doing things with them of draw what's in the thing, that's kind of where a lot of my fascination was. I was like, oh my God, and then the little girl just kept drawing it. And then eventually when he gave her something really difficult, she ended up drawing the mask, a really creepy drawing of that, of the demon's face, I guess. And that immediately was like, oh my God, she's whatever it is, the psychic power that she has, she's coming to contact. And I think it's when she materialized the water, because she materialized water that they said was from a river. And I think it's probably from the same river that the demon was held in, or that town drowned under, because we know that town was now under that dam that under the water. So I think that's what happened with her when they were when the psychic was try to materialize water. I'm pretty sure the sea materialized the demon water, and then that's how she then became part of that whole thing. So I was with the movie all through that, and then like Jake said, it just lost me with all these plot lines, man, of the lady with the neighbor, and then the psychic girl, and then she's lost, and then he's searching for her, and the actress, and the actress's neighbor, and then the show that the actress was in, and the director that caught the thing, and then it's it just kept piling on to such an extent where I felt like the movie lost focus, and then I couldn't focus. I was just kind of what am I supposed to be following here? It just felt like I was just following this dude on his shenanigans, that loosely tied to each other. And then by the time that they all kind of came together, when he just forces his way into her home and she, hung herself, and the little girl's passed, after the whole thing where we see her with the fetuses. By that point, I was like, there's no payoff to this, because it's it was half an hour ago that you were looking for the girl in that blue building or whatever, and then it's we kind of forgot about her, and now she's back, and she passed, but it's I don't care, and then the ending for me was just frustrating, because the whole time I was why are you holding the camera?
Yeah, I thought of that too. I was like, dude, what? This is so unrealistic.
It would have made more sense to me, and I wish I would have done this, obviously, but that's just hindsight, that he would have started with it, and then when the dude rushed into his house, that he would have just dropped it somewhere where it would have just conveniently showed the action.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have worked, just throwing it in a corner, and then we just have this kind of Dutch angle of what's happening in a wide, instead of whatever the heck, him just wrestling with this guy and holding the camera, and it's dude, the guy's hurting your wife.
Yeah.
And now he's massacring this boy, and it's what is going on? I did like that brief shot of the boy's face as it was the mask, the face of the demon, because the psychic guy was saying that it was oh, the boy is the demon, And then the second that we kind of pan back to him, his face is just fine, just kind of bloody. I did like that about the ending. Other than that, I feel like the ending was way too much.
Yeah.
And just completely frustrating. Um, and he brought back the most annoying character of the movie, which was the psychic guy. I mean, that guy, I could, every time that they went back to that guy's house, like, why are we going back to this guy's house?
I know.
I hated that character. It was insufferable.
Yeah, it was like what? Yeah, it was like, what is this guy teaching us? He's like not giving us any information or anything. It's just like, yeah, no, I had a tough time with that character, man.
And even when he brought him with them, when they went on like the little journey to like rid the actress of the ghost, which was unclear like what even happened with that, because he was like, yeah, I'm good now, you know. Introduced him back to being an actress, which is interesting because she's actually obviously an actress, and she's playing herself. Like that's her actual name.
Oh, that's
that
right.
She has. Her name's actually Mariko. But you know, when they go with her up there to the damn thing, the director, like not the director, but the guy, he goes to the psychic dude and he's like, Mr. Hori or whatever, you have to come with us, or hero. And I was like, why? Like, why does this guy have to come with you guys? Like,
just to scream.
There was actually no reason for why he brought him. I think it was just because the plot needed him to be there to do the whole thing of like going up the mountain, just screaming the girl's name, which was extremely annoying. Him just like rushing, screaming her name. I was like, dude, be coherent. Yes, I think that's all I have to say about this. That's all I have to say about this movie. It just frustrated me, honestly. I wish. I think I had just high expectations. And the movie's kind of beginning made me feel like, okay, you know, 20 minutes in, I feel like my expectations are still here. And then I was just kind of like, this is boring and unfocused.
Yeah.
And the ending was honestly bad.
Yeah, I thought, you know what was lame too, while we're on negatives too, was like when they were running through the woods with the shaky cam and like it's like Blair Witch Project, but they had like music overlaid. That felt so goofy.
And it became very noticeable. I was like, why do you guys have a score? I was like, why is this?
Yeah, like I know it's supposed to be a documentary, but it just doesn't work. Like it would have just been better, like just diegetic or whatever you say, like natural sound.
But even that scene like frustrated me because of the intercutting between that and his cameraman chasing after the girl screaming. Like,
yeah,
you know, that frustrated me too, because I was like, oh my god. I was like, now in my head, I was like, now this is gonna last 15 minutes, which it did, of just cutting between one thing to the other. And when they would cut from one thing to the other, nothing was happening.
Yeah,
like it would just be more of him shaking the camera around the floor, and then back to the guy just screaming after the actress, Marco, are you okay? You know, I mean, dude. I don't know why people. This movie's overrated. I don't know why people have this movie like so highly like regarded, because I really don't think it adds anything to the anything, honestly.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm equally surprised. Like people really dig this thing. I've heard a lot about this as like.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was included in. There's like a YouTube series called like movies that are actually scary or something.
This is not scary.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this was in there. I thought this was like slightly above average scary. Man, like I thought it was fairly scary. You didn't think it was scary at all?
Dude, no. If you Google this movie, you know, one of the first things is gonna be in r/horror Reddit. We're talking about Reddit a lot on this episode. Of a guy just saying Noroi the Core is just insane. And just going bananas, and everybody going bananas about how insane the movie is. Bro, and Jack knows this. I watched this movie, I feel like in the scariest setting that you can possibly put yourself in. I was by myself at night in a dark hotel room in a town and in a hotel that I've never fucking been before.
Yeah.
And I watched this movie and I was like, okay. And I just went to sleep.
Yeah, I wasn't looking over my shoulder when I finished it, because like I had to, like I finished it and then I had to like, you know, get some laundry out of the dryer and shit, like go downstairs, you know, through the house at night, and I definitely wasn't looking over my shoulder or anything. Whereas like, you know, I don't know, like I'm thinking about Lake Mungo or like Skinamarink, like that movie.
Yeah,
like I remember I was looking over my fucking shoulder after that one.
Yeah, no. Suffice it to say, I'm disappointed.
I think I watched it in two parts too, which helped. Like I watched the first half like at night alone. Jake was gone. I had no idea where Jake went. Like I was like went downstairs.
Jake's
like,
dead.
To be found. Like what? I like looked in the garage. His car's not there. I'm like, the fuck did this guy go? But I was just like watching it Home Alone, and I definitely was feeling like creeped out by it.
Yeah.
Then the second part, second day, I watched it like in the middle of the day for the finish.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't the same atmosphere for the second part.
Yeah.
I did want to say I did kind of like I mean, things that they did, like the tape analysis parts as well, like when they took it to like a sound specialist and they
That was
isolate
cool.
the signal. What else did they do? They had the one guy go through the footage of Mariko and those two guys and find that figure in the background, and then I think they had there's one other one, I forget exactly what it was, but I thought that was kind of cool on the mockumentary style, to kind of see like him taking the tapes and stuff to different people, almost like a supernatural investigation piece of it.
Yeah. No, that was cool. That was interesting.
Yeah.
What would you rate?
What
would you guys rate it?
Yeah, that's what I was to ask you. Like, all that being said, you guys, since I picked this one, you boys go first. What would you guys rate this thing?
Jack?
I enjoyed it. I didn't have quite the same struggles that you had viewing it. I mean, I think I would give it a 7 out of 10.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think it was like terrifying, or I didn't think it was like I couldn't sleep at night. So it definitely wasn't like that. That for me is like a 10. So, but I feel like I definitely got a fix from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 6. Like, pretty good. It's like slightly above average. I thought it was like fairly creepy, pretty scary, like better than most. But yeah, like just the issues with all the plot lines, the insufferable like tinfoil hat character, and just kind of like some missed opportunities to be really scary. Kind of dragged it down a little bit for me. And I suspect that rewatches of this would drag the score down more. Like, I don't think I really plan to revisit this movie.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, this is a disappointing watch for me, like, honestly. But funnily enough, we are at 5, 6, and 7 because I'm giving this movie a 5.
Nice.
Everybody, that was our review of Noroi the Curse. Jake, what do we have for next week? And if anybody listening, if you guys disagree, share your thoughts with us in the comments.
Yeah. Feel free to roast us in the comments. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like, what's another movie, just on the subject of r/horror, that gets a ton of love that you and I shit on, Edward, was that Terrified movie, that like Argentinian movie.
Oh, that's terrible.
And people love that thing, man. Like, Reddit loves that movie. That movie sucked. That movie sucked. There was like 2 pretty damn scary scenes, and that was it. I'll give it to those 2 scenes that we've discussed. Yeah. But anyway.
Terrible movie.
Yeah. Were you asking me what I had for next week?
Yes.
I don't. It's gonna be a surprise this time. I gotta think. I kind of want to.
It's the last spook of the spook season.
But yeah, next week will be a surprise. Everybody, comment below what you want us to watch to give us some ideas. But I'm gonna pick one last horror film for this for the season. Next week's Halloween. So, or if you're listening to this episode this week, so we're gonna take the this week off, and then we'll come back with one more kind of retrospective, I guess, late spooky season watch, and then we'll go into November. But yeah, and just some housekeeping. Season 2 of Film Tangents is approaching the finish line as we head into November here. So we'll be taking off December and probably a good chunk of January, if not all of it. So just be prepared for that. But we'll keep you guys satiated with some clips and such.
Yeah,
so.
We'll keep our clip guy employed.
Yeah.
Whoever that is.
Keep that guy on the payroll.
Everybody, happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Thank you for listening.
Happy
Next
Halloween.
time on Film Tangents.
We out.
We're out.
Peace.